Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your Monday Night Raw post show. Starting off tonight, we got Adam Pearce, the general manager of Raw, making a special announcement and an update on the condition of Seth Rollins. Before Pearce even makes the announcement, we see the Vision pulling up in the parking lot with Braun Breaker coming out of the vehicle holding Rollins' World Heavyweight title. The Vision come out to the ring. Pearce says that he knows Rollins was hurt, but to what extent, we don't know. Pearce says that Rollins is on the shelf. Pearce announces that Rollins has been stripped of the World Heavyweight title. Pearce announces, though, that there will be a new champion and a new number one contender at Saturday night's main event. Pearce announces that the new number one contender to face Punk will be decided in a battle royal that will take place in the main event of tonight's Raw. Pearson asked Braun Breaker to hand over the world title, and Braun Breaker pretty much plays mind games with Adam Pearce. Says, what if he doesn't? And that Braun Breaker wants respect from Adam Pearce. Braun then goes to hand the title to Pearce, but then goes to hand it to Paul Heyman. Pearce then finally gets the title. Heyman then asks, why is everyone upset? Heyman wonders what they did so wrong to Seth Rollins. Heyman then praises Bronson Reed. Heyman then says it was the Vision over the Bloodline. Heyman then mocks Rollins, calling Rollins a bum shoulder bitch. Heyman then praises Braun Breaker and praises the Vision. Some interesting stuff there from Paul Heyman and the Vision. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of Monday Night Raw last night. It is for the World Tag Team titles. It is the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD McDonough defending the World Tag Team titles against Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. The match itself was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Dragon Lee and AJ Styles keeping the pace of the match. Dragon Lee then hits a Hurricane Rana on Finn Balor in the middle of the ring. JD McDonough gets involved by hitting a powerbomb on Dragon Lee in the middle of the ring. AJ then goes to the outside, hits a phenomenal forearm for a near fall, followed by a Pele kick on JD McDonough. McDonough then gets up, hits a Spanish fly on AJ Styles in the middle of the ring for a near fall. McDonough then goes to the top rope, hits a moonsault, followed by Finn Balor hitting a coup de grace for a near fall. Styles then gets up, hits a Styles Clash on Finn Balor, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match and new WWE World Tag Team Champions are Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. Hats off to Dragon Lee and AJ Styles for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a WWE Intercontinental Championship matchup where Dominic Mysterio is defending the Intercontinental Championship against Rusev. Before the match even gets started, Dominic quickly attacks Rusev on the outside, but the match itself was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Rusev and Mysterio, with Rusev keeping the pace of the match. Rusev then hits a fall-away slam on Dominic Mysterio in the middle of the ring. Mysterio then goes out of the ring. He grabs his titles. He goes to leave the match, but Penta is here. Penta then pretty much causes a distraction. Rusev then attacks Penta. After this, Rusev then finds the Timekeeper's hammer, which was in Dominic Mysterio's boot. Mysterio then hits a low blow on Rusev, followed by a 619. Mysterio then goes to the top rope, hits his signature frog splash off the top rope, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still Intercontinental Champion, is Dominic Mysterio. After the match, you can see Rusev frustrated in the middle of the ring, but Penta comes out of nowhere and attacks Rusev. Some interesting stuff there between Penta and Rusev. Moving on from that, we have a Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup where Becky Lynch defends the Women's Intercontinental title against Maxine Dupree. I thought this was a decent match. Probably not honestly, the last match that Dupree had with Becky was better than this match. It was a back-and-forth matchup with Becky keeping the pace of the match. Maxine and Becky both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Maxine applying an ankle lock on Lynch in the middle of the ring, but the hold is broken. Lynch then hits Maxine with the title. The referee sounds for the bell, and the match ends in disqualification. Becky then attacks Maxine, but Becky hits a manhandle slam on Maxine Dupree, leaving Maxine helpless in the middle of the ring. Moving on from that, we have Roxanne Perez taking on Stephanie Vaquer. I thought it was a good match, back-and-forth matchup between Roxanne and Stephanie, with Stephanie keeping the pace of the match. Raquel, who was ringside, ends up attacking Stephanie. Stephanie then hits a devil's kiss on Roxanne in the middle of the ring, followed by Stephanie hitting the finish on Roxanne. Pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Stephanie Vacure. After the match, Raquel attacks Stephanie. Nikki Bella comes out to the ring. Nikki then attacks Roxanne, and then Raquel ends up attacking Nikki, leaving Nikki helpless in the middle of the ring. Some interesting stuff there from Nikki Bella. Moving on from that, we go into our main event on Monday Night Raw, where it is a number 1 contender Battle Royal matchup, and the winner will go on to face CM Punk at Saturday night's main event for the vacant World Heavyweight title. The match itself was a decent match. I'm really not a big fan of Battle Royals, back and forth matchup. Jey Uso and Dominic Mysterio were the last 2 competitors in this match, where Jey ends up eliminating Dominic Mysterio, and your winner of the match and moving on to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title at Saturday night's main event is Jey Uso. Hats off to Jey Uso for getting the win in this matchup. A couple of things I want to talk about with you guys, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get the hell up out of here. Was it a bad Raw? No. I don't think it was a bad Raw. I think, the same thing with SmackDown. Do I think Raw is probably the best wrestling show that we're getting on a weekly episodic, basis? Yeah. I think Raw is way better than Dynamite and a lot better than SmackDown. But things are starting to change on Raw and SmackDown for the better. And I think they're progressively getting better over time. So, we opened the show last night with Adam Pearce. Everybody was speculating and wondering what the hell was going on with Seth Rollins. Is he legitimately injured? What's going on? Are they going to vacate the title? So Pearce finally makes the announcement that Rollins will be stripped of the World Heavyweight title, and that he went under successful shoulder surgery, which could sideline Rollins for quite some time. A lot of people, even after this, are still suspecting this could be a work. This could be a storyline angle or some kind of work. All I know is this: Rollins has been stripped of the World Heavyweight title. CM Punk is looking to have a match at Saturday night's main event for the world title. So they had to figure out a way to bring somebody in to challenge CM Punk, where the winner would move on and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Which is fine. I'll say this. Number 1, seeing Braun Breaker coming out of that vehicle holding the World Heavyweight title, I mean, you want to talk about a guy that looks like he's championship material. And to be honest with you, I'm not against Braun Breaker being World Heavyweight Champion at all. At all. But we get this announcement from Pearce last night that, there will be a championship match taking place at Saturday night's main event. And the way they're going to figure this out is that they're going to have a battle royal in the main event of last night's Monday Night Raw. I had a huge issue with this. Number 1, I'm not a big fan of the battle royals, man. I never have been, I never will be. I don't like the over-the-rope battle royals. I just think they're lackadaisical, lazy, half-ass booking, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of it. And I feel like it's just downright lazy. But we get to this battle royal, and, we see the competitors in this battle royal, and this is the other reason why I'm not big on battle royals. Some of the competitors in this battle royal to crown, a new number 1 contender, if you will, against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title was damn near laughable. We're seeing one half of the Viking Raiders. We're seeing Kofi Kingston. We're seeing Grayson Waller. We're seeing Tozawa. People that have no chance in hell getting a World Heavyweight title opportunity. So it's very lazy booking. And then we get to some other competitors in the match. We see Jey Uso, obviously, Dominic Mysterio. We also see AJ Styles. We see the likes of also LA Knight. This is my other issue with this, bro. Am I completely pissed with Jey Uso winning this Battle Royal? No. But I'm also pissed off that they're not throwing LA Knight into the mix. And what I mean by that is, bro, is for some reason, and I might just be on a hill by myself on this, or might be my own conspiracy theorist on this, I don't think WWE is ever going to push LA Knight. I do not see it. And for whatever reason, I don't know why. LA Knight is immensely over with the fans. I don't know what the issue is with LA Knight in WWE. I just feel like the guy always comes up short. The WWE is afraid to push a guy like LA Knight. Is he a main event caliber talent? Absolutely. Is he great on the microphone? Absolutely. One of the best in WWE. But I feel as if WWE and the powers that be are just afraid to push a guy like LA Knight. The same way they will push a Jey Uso. Jay winning this matchup, man, to be honest, bro, I'd rather have it been LA Knight versus CM Punk at Saturday Night's Main Event due to the fact that both these guys have been at each other's throats as of late for the past couple of weeks with the back and forth banter back and forth between LA Knight and CM Punk, the arguing, the matches. To me, storyline-wise, it would be more believable if it was LA Knight and CM Punk going into Saturday Night's Main Event to crown a new world champion, in my opinion. I don't think it's far-fetched. But then we get Jey Uso winning this matchup. Look, man, I'm going to be honest. And I praise Jey Uso. I want to put this out there first and foremost. I praise Jey. When Jey won the Rumble and he won the Intercontinental Championship, and when he did become the World Heavyweight Champion, finally beating Gunther, I praised the hell out of Jey. And I told you guys that Jey had worked his ass off to get to the positions that he got in WWE, and he rightfully deserves the opportunities that he has gotten. Absolutely. Am I personally done with the Yeet era and Jey Uso? I'm not necessarily done with Jey Uso. I think he's a great competitor. I think he's a great talent. I'm done with the Yeet era shit. I'm done with it. And I know it might shock a lot of people, but I'm just done with it, man. They're forcing this Jey Uso shit down our throats, to be honest. And I don't really know how this is going to pan out, especially leading into War Games. War Games right now is a humongous fucking wild card at this point. With Rollins being out, we don't know what Division's going to be doing. I know there's been, Austin Theory's names floating around as of late of being a possible another member joining the Division. Great. It'd be great for the Division. It would also be tremendous for Austin Theory. Absolutely. But that's still yet to be determined. So I don't know what Division's doing. I don't know what the hell we're doing leading into War Games. And now we got Jey in this championship matchup with CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. He also cost Jimmy Uso the opportunity as well by eliminating Jimmy in this matchup. So I don't know if there's a fallout with the Usos. I mean, hell, there's even been people speculating that Jey Uso might join the Division, which I don't want to see that. I don't. Unless we're doing maybe some kind of angle where, Roman Reigns is going to come back and try to dethrone Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion. But I don't want to see Jey or CM Punk win this title. I just don't, man. I'm hoping Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed come out and just completely demolish the entire match. To be honest, it's not a win-win situation for Punk or Jey Uso. And the reason why I'm saying this for Punk is everybody and their grandmother wanted to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. And everybody wanted to see CM Punk finally beat Seth Rollins clean and become the new World Heavyweight Champion if in fact that was going to happen at Saturday Night's Main Event. But unfortunately, with Rollins being injured and sidelined, that's not going to happen. But you also had to remember this. Rollins' goal was to make sure that CM Punk's life in WWE was a living hell. And made it abundantly clear that he will never be World Heavyweight Champion. So again, with this Seth Rollins injury and him being stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship, is this one big ruse? Is this one big work, once again, that we saw back in August from Seth Rollins when he was injured, supposedly, walks out with crutches, drops the crutches, and rushes the ring, ultimately costing CM Punk his match and the World Heavyweight title. So again, is this one big-ass work? We don't know. We have no idea. None. No clue at all. So, like I said, was I happy and thrilled with Jey Uso winning this Battle Royal? No, not really, bro. To me, the money match to make was CM Punk versus LA Knight at Saturday Night's Main Event. There's a lot more hostility between those two gentlemen than there is Jey Uso and CM Punk, to be honest. It should have been LA Knight. And I don't know why they're not pushing LA Knight. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. I put LA Knight in the same category as a Drew McIntyre. Is that he's got all the potential in the world. McIntyre has all the potential in the world, just like LA Knight. But they don't want to push these guys, man. They just don't. LA Knight's mid-card at best, sometimes at most. They don't want to really put him in the main event scene. And when they do, they're not pushing him continuously to try to give him a world title opportunity or put the title on LA Knight. The money match to make, folks, was Punk and LA Knight at Saturday Night's Main Event, not Jey Uso. And I know there's going to be the naysayers out there, the pro Jey Uso fans. I get it. I understand it. You look at someone like Rikishi, man. Obviously, he's going to be all for Jey Uso, and he talks about the fact that he gets, Jey gets mistreated and yada, yada, yada. Look, man, like I said, I respect the hell out of Jey. I can give a rat's ass about a Jey Uso CM Punk match at Saturday Night's Main Event. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. I'm done with the Yeet era shit. To me, My focus and fixation was the fact that Jey Uso and Jimmy were trying to figure out what the hell they're doing with Roman Reigns. And the fact that Roman had told them after his match against Bronson Reed that he didn't want to see the Usos until December. But we got we got Survivor Series in November. So to me, in my honest opinion, was this going to be something where the Usos weren't trying to get back in the good graces of Roman Reigns, or they're going to say the hell with Roman and do their own thing? Now, after what happened last night, looks like Jey is going into business with himself, especially after the fact that he eliminated his brother Jimmy in this Battle Royal. And you can tell that Jimmy was pissed off after the match. He was immensely pissed off. And myself included. Not just because of the Jimmy situation, but mainly because LA Knight. Where are we going with LA Knight? Why is LA Knight not in the world title picture? I mean, hell, bro, for all intents and purposes, where the hell is Gunther? I'll take Gunther as World Heavyweight Champion, to be honest. This shit here, man, I think WWE possibly backed themselves into a corner big time with this CM Punk and Jey Uso match at Saturday Night's Main Event. Other things I want to talk about, Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. I'm going to be honest, man. I think Maxine's best performance I've seen from her was last week when she faced off against Becky. That was the best performance I've seen from Maxine Dupree since she's been in the WWE. This week, not so much. It felt like a days ago we got the disqualification from Becky when Becky hit Maxine with the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The match felt like a days ago. It felt like a filler match, and it's I don't know, man. And my thing is, too, I know AJ Lee signed a multi-year deal with WWE. I have not seen AJ Lee since WrestlePalooza. So I don't know what's going on with AJ Lee. I thought they were going to run it back with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch and have some kind of storyline there between Becky and AJ. I even said after my WrestlePalooza review that it should be the fact that, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch are far from over. But we have not seen the likes of an AJ Lee on Monday Night Raw since the Raw leading us up into WrestlePalooza. And then obviously WrestlePalooza. But we have not seen AJ Lee since then. So I don't know what's going on with AJ Lee. Hopefully she does come back. And who knows, we might get a storyline here between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, because we also saw the likes of a return of Nikki Bella last night, who came out to try to help out Stephanie Vaquer in her matchup against Roxanne Perez, and also dealing with Raquel Rodriguez, who was ringside. So now it looks like we might get some back and forth here between Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer, especially going up against the Judgment Day. So there's also that. I just feel as if, man, Monday Night Raw was kind of all over the place last night, to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a shit show. I think it was a decent show at best, but the Battle Royal was not needed. And I'm not all for Jey Uso challenging CM Punk for the vacant World Heavyweight title. I'm just not for it. I'm just not. And my other thing is, too, is why are we not seeing Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed a part of that Battle Royal? You know what I mean? To me, honestly, I think if I had to make a prediction, I don't want either Jey or CM Punk winning that World Heavyweight title. I just don't. I think it should remain vacant leading into Survivor Series, to be honest. I think Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come out, cause a disqualification. Nobody wins the world title. And they beat the shit out of CM Punk and Jey Uso. But either that, or we get the introduction of a new member to the Vision, being Austin Theory, who comes out and attacks CM Punk and causes the disqualification where nobody wins the world title. And that's how I would introduce the likes of an Austin Theory. Look, man, I said something about this a couple weeks back, and the way things are starting to shape up. Look, man, we just saw Sami Zayn defend the U.S. Championship in an open challenge against Dragunov. Dragunov finally returned, and Dragunov ended up beating Sami Zayn for the United States Championship, where I predicted that Obafemi would be one of the individuals that answers the open challenge for Sami Zayn, and Obafemi comes in and just beats the holy hell out of Sami Zayn. Well, that's not the case, because Dragunov returned, and Dragunov beat Sami Zayn for the U.S. Championship on SmackDown this past Friday. So again, if there's an opportunity to bring in someone like Obafemi onto the main roster, is Monday Night Raw entertaining the idea of bringing over Obafemi to have him join the Vision? Is it so far-fetched? Now, a lot of people are not going to want that, and they want Obafemi to be on his own. I'm not against that either. But would I be shocked if Obafemi walks through that main roster door and joins the likes of Paul Heyman in the Vision? No. Could you imagine? I mean, there's already people speculating that Lesnar might be a part of the division, where you got Lesnar, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. If that's the case, that stable, those three gentlemen alone, make that the strongest stable in pro wrestling today. But let's say it's not Lesnar. Let's say it's Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Obafemi, and possibly Austin Theory joining the likes of the Vision, the future of WWE. Which, if you're looking at all four of those guys, they could possibly be the future for the next 15, 20 years in WWE. Sure. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying Obafemi is joining the Vision. But would I could be completely against if he did? No, I wouldn't. From just my own opinion, no. I don't know what Obafemi's still doing in NXT, or if he's still doing work with NXT, but if they are actually considering calling him up, sure. I mean, hell, I even pitched an idea of it being Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and maybe bringing in the likes of Ethan Page once maybe they called him up to the main roster. Why not? You know, I even said something about Ricky Starks, even though he is the current NXT World Heavyweight Champion, but someone like Ricky Starks would also be a great addition to the Vision. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just naming off names that could join the Vision. I even made comments about Drew McIntyre possibly joining the Vision. Why not? It's not like Drew McIntyre is really tied up to anything right now. They wrote Jacob Fatu off television. He's dealing with a non-personal injury, so I don't know what the hell is going on with Jacob Fatu, so that clears up McIntyre. That's the thing, bro. We had to start looking at the entire picture here. We also had to start building towards Saturday night's main event. And we also had to start building towards mainly Survivor Series. So once we get to Saturday night's main event, which I believe takes place November 1st, if I'm not mistaken, that's when the ball is going to get rolling as far as I believe should get rolling for the outlook of what this year's Survivor Series is going to look like, specifically War Games. We don't know if we're going to see Roman. We don't know what's going on with Jimmy and Jay. Jacob Fatu's out. The Vision right now have two guys in the whole stable right now with Breaker and Bronson Reed. If we're even going to do a 4-on-4 matchup, they had to add two more guys to the Vision. Is this going to be something where it's going to be Reed, Breaker, Lesnar, and Theory, 4, doesn't technically have to be 5 people in War Games, versus, I don't know, Roman, Jimmy, Jay, maybe entertain the idea of a CM Punk or a Cody Rhodes? I don't know. The reason why I'm leaning more towards CM Punk is due to the fact that Breaker and Reed might come out and ultimately cost CM Punk his opportunity at winning the world title. And then they run it back. Who knows? It doesn't technically have to be a 5-on-5 War Games matchup. But I think the biggest, output of Monday Night Raw, to me, is what's going to be next for the Vision. Are we going to start seeing more additions added to this new and improved Vision stable, if you will? Are we going to see the likes of Austin Theory? Are we going to see the return of Brock Lesnar? Are they going to bring in somebody else that nobody's even talking about, like I mentioned earlier, like Obafemi, which is a wild card? I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's definitely a wild card, but I'm saying, are they going to add more people to the Vision? Or is Seth Rollins not legitimately injured and this is one big-ass ruse? This is one big work just to get the fans riled up again like he did back in August, which some people loved it and some people couldn't stand it, and it pissed a lot of people off. So there's all multiple ways to look at it and see where we can go from here. So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, we're going to see how this is going to play out. We're going to see how Monday Night Raw is going to stack up and how they're going to, hopefully the shows get progressively better. But all right now, we're on the road to Saturday night's main event, and we're also on the road to try to build up storylines leading us into War Games this year, which I think War Games is definitely going to be interesting to say the least. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.